person's time. And Rosalind, thank you that you'll be allowing individuals in. So welcome. This is REIMAGINE 2022 as we get ready to pull up the slides. It's hard to believe, and I was sharing this morning when I was on another event, that it is already the end of March and we are looking into April. It seems like we're just saying Happy New Year. And so this event today is hosted by DPI and Renee Scott Insurance. And before I share just a little bit more about the sponsors, I do want to just go over a few housekeeping rules. Please note that the information you receive today is for educational purposes only. We are not giving out any legal advice. We are not giving out anything that we feel you must do. Of course, take the information and make the decision for your business. We ask that all of your mics are muted to, of course, protect the integrity of the call. If you have any questions, make sure to put those questions in the chat box. While we are waiting for others to join us, if you could just let us know your name of your business, your contact information, because of course we like to say networking starts now. A link to the recording of this webinar will be provided in our recap email that you will receive in the next day or two. Now, with that, I do want to thank our sponsors, Renee Scott Insurance, which is a family-owned insurance agency taking the pain out of shopping for auto, home, and business insurance. Renee Scott Insurance is now licensed in Florida and Georgia. And then also we want to thank DPI, which is a high-impact consulting firm focused on equipping leaders to thrive through leadership training, business strategy, and diversity consulting. So I do see that we have some additional individuals joining us. So I felt, hey, let me start with an icebreaker. So what type of fruit describes your day today? I want you to put that in the chat. What type of fruit describes your day today? Maybe it's a prune, right? It's just been one of those days. A banana, a strawberry, a star fruit, because it has just been an awesome day. Maybe an apple. What fruit would describe your day today? It's Tuesday, it's not a Monday, so hopefully it's going a little bit better than it did on yesterday. Rosalind, I'm having a hard time seeing my chat, so if you see individuals chatting, maybe you just call it out for me.
Yeah. Peachy. Oh, we got 2 peaches.
Okay.
Grapefruit.
I wonder why grapefruit.
A little sweet, a little sour, and also green grapes. It's the same, sort of sweet, sort of sour.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much for just sharing what your fruit would be. We are going to go right into having our first speaker share with us today. But before we do, I almost forgot to share with you the agenda and what we're going to be learning today. So we're going to have Lawrence Barnes, who's going to be speaking with us about funding. He is our banker for the event, who's been in the industry for several years. Rosalind is going to be sharing with us about marketing. Alana is the trademark attorney that's going to be sharing information regarding trademark. And then we're going to have, and this is something we've never done before, is having a question and answer, a retail question and answer with Deanna and Rosalind Rice. So I am going to introduce Lawrence. Lawrence has over 13 years of small business and consumer finance experience. He's originally from Panama City, Florida, and now lives in Tampa with his beautiful wife, Danielle, and their 3 children. He's an avid boater and loves to spend his spare time with family. He works for PNC Bank as a vice president of small business banking and he is a center manager. Lawrence has great joy in providing his clients consultative advice on a multitude of topics regarding small businesses, which include, but doesn't necessarily limit, what he is able to provide information on: proper cash flow, structuring, lending, payments, receivables, and treasury needs. Lawrence takes great pride in putting his clients' needs above all else. You can feel free to book an appointment with him. We'll have his information again at the end of this presentation. But for now, Lawrence, feel free, take away.
Awesome. Thank you, Renee. Hello, everyone. I'm glad to be here at this Reimagine event today. Like I told Renee earlier, I'm looking to definitely add and impart some advice when it comes to banking, but also hopefully I'll be learning some things from you all as well today. So definitely excited to take this time out today and talk about small business needs, just because I think it's very imperative, for new small businesses starting, and also for existing businesses that are looking to progress into other phases, so definitely excited. So we can jump right into it. All right, so first slide here is mistakes when applying for loans. So, one of the big parts of my jobs, and something I take a lot of great joy in, is helping small businesses establish loans for themselves, whether you're in the infancy stage of your business or you're in a more longevity type stage to where you're looking at possibly selling the business off and looking to produce income and maximize the income before you get out of the business. So first part here is filing taxes each year. So one of the mistakes that I see a lot of startup companies do is they don't really take tax filing seriously when they first start off. So what I'll tell a lot of companies are, when you're starting your business off, you definitely want to make sure that you're showing profit. Everybody has an accountant, right? As a business owner. Well, your accountant's job is to work in your best interest. And one of the ways to work in your best interest is to save you as much money as possible. So a lot of times what they'll do is, usually they'll write off a loss on your income. And what that has is an adverse effect when you go to apply for small business lending, because you're not able to actually show any positive income. So what I tell a lot of small businesses are, work within your scope and within your need, know what your long-term financial plan is for your business, and make sure that you're adhering to that plan by making sure that you are showing profit, saving your money throughout the year, because you're going to pay Uncle Sam at the end of the year, whether that's 10%, 15%, 20%. You want to also make sure that you're putting that money to the side. So that way, at the end of the year, once you are able to show that income, you're able to kind of sustain that blow, if you will, of the taxes that you're going to have to pay in. Also, guarantors. So I hear a lot of people talk about being a personal guarantor, and a lot of people that want to get business credit, but they don't want to use their own credit. And, one of the things with that is that it's a lot easier to get business credit if you already have your personal credit established. And I think what a lot of people try to do is they try to negate their personal credit, if you will, especially if they have some credit challenges in the past, and they'll try to just think of ways outside of the box to build business credit. Now, that's not a bad thing, that's not a bad thing. Of course, you want your business to stand on its own. You want your business to be able to produce those lending opportunities by itself. But as a startup business and a business who's in the infancy stage, if you will, that could be a little bit difficult. So it's actually a good thing to leverage your personal credit, especially when you're applying for business credit cards. What a lot of people don't know is with business credit cards, for a lot of financial institutions, they actually don't report to your personal trade line. So if you need a $50,000 credit card for daily expenses of your business, and it's money that you're going to pay back once your account receivables come in, absolutely leverage your personal credit to get that business credit card if you need to. So that's definitely not a bad thing, and it can help accelerate the growth of your business over time and help you get to your end goals a lot quicker. Keep a good, consistent paper trail. Guys, I can't speak about this enough. I can't tell you how many clients I meet with where, they're pulling cash out of the ATM, they're withdrawing money out, and there's no consistent paper trail. If you want to make a nightmare for your accountant and you want to pay some extra accounting fees, don't have a paper trail, because they will definitely charge you for that, because it's definitely a nightmare to try to figure out your books. This goes back to, the first part here about getting lending, especially in this day and age, where, businesses are starting to produce more business, but also businesses are filing for bankruptcy, COVID, everything else. Banks are a lot stringent on their policy and guidelines when it comes to business lending. So you definitely want to make sure your books are in order. If you are a cash-based business, make sure that you have a receipt for your clients, and make sure when you're making your deposits, you're able to itemize each of those deposits through some kind of online software, whether you get QuickBooks, Intuit, anything like that. You want to always operate your business like it's a multi-million-dollar corporation, right? So yeah, you may be Fred's Burger Shop or Julene's Ice Cream Shop down the street, mom and pop, but you should still position your business as if you were McDonald's or as you were Cold Stone Creamery, right? You want to have that same type of care, for lack of better words, for your business. So you definitely want to make sure that you're managing your business effectively by keeping a good paper trail throughout your business. Pay off old bills, decrease debt to debt to income ratio. So this kind of goes back to your personal credit and making sure that you're positioning yourself for business credit in the future. You want to definitely make sure that you clean up your personal credit, pay off any old debt that you have. That way you can increase your debt to income ratio, and you can better position and align yourself for small business lending. The reason this is important, guys, is because, banks, they're going to dig into your personal as well. Even though you might say, oh, I've been in business for 2 to 3 years, I have XYZ in revenue. Well, they're also going to look at your personal side as well. Okay, how much personal debt is the owner keeping? Even though the business looks good, is the owner going to be a liability, right? So you want to make sure that you're positioning yourself well from a personal standpoint as well. Most businesses require 680 credit score. So yes, when it comes to credit, like I said again, you definitely want to make sure your personal credit is on par. Most traditional banks that you're going to come in contact with, they're looking for anywhere from a 720 to a 660 credit score. So mid-range about 680 to 690. The reason that is like I said before, with COVID, a lot of businesses went out of business. A lot of people took out loans before business got bad, and they weren't able to pay that debt back. So banks are looking for higher tier credit scores to make sure that they can, they're making a safe bet on getting their money back, right? And to be quite frank, 680 isn't a really high credit score. They've actually softened the limits a little bit because it was higher to like the 750s. So 680s is a good spot. So also, if you guys need help with those type of things, that's something I do here at PNC Bank as well. All right, so Cash App, business accounts versus Cash App and Venmo. So this is popular right now, guys. We're seeing a lot of business owners use Cash App. It's just convenient, right? It's fast, it's cheap, it's an easy way to move money. A lot of businesses clients like Cash App just because it's convenient. I use Cash App myself, but when it comes to my business, I definitely refrain from using it because, quite frankly, there are other convenient ways that you can utilize throughout your business that provides the same services as Cash App, but it does it a little bit more consistently, and it leaves that paper trail that's so important to your business. So the cons of using Cash App is high risk of fraud. So not sure how many of you guys have ever had your Cash App hacked into, but it happens more often than not. and there's not any recourse for you really getting your money back. You know, if someone hacks into your Cash App and they pull your money out of there, of course you can report it to Cash App, but you know, I'm about 90% likely that you're not going to get your funds back. So it's not worth it to put your business in that type of risk standard just so you can get it funded a little bit quicker. Let's see, not usable for accountants. So a lot of accountants refrain from Cash Out and Venmo, and they really don't like to base tax returns off of that because they really can't find out where that money came from, right? You know, if you have a Cash App transaction that went through, you know, what recourse is there to say that that actually came from a client? You know, what if that was money laundering, right? Obviously, I'm not saying anyone on this line does money laundering, but this is the way accountants think because their name and reputation is on the line as well. So they're held to a liability standard as well for filing your taxes. So they want to make sure that they know exactly where your funds are coming from. Business account. So, you know, a lot of people use Cash App instead of opening a regular traditional business account. The pros of having a business account, obviously, is you're able to file your taxes. You're able to put your business on notice and on record for the hard work that you put in, the income that you produce. And obviously, that's going to help you get lending in the future. Allows you to effectively move money while mitigating risk. So another thing with that as well, when you think about Cash App, there are products and services that most banks offer. One of those products are treasury management. So with that, you're able to set up something called Express ACH. That allows you to accelerate the time that you get paid and also accelerate your receivables as well. So you can get paid instantaneously the same day from your clients by setting up something like treasury management. All right, opening a bank account. I know I got about 1 minute left, so I'm gonna make this one quick. So opening a bank account, registering your entity with sunbiz.org. So that's very important. Banks are not going to open a bank account for you unless your business is registered, whether that's a LLC, a corporation, a fictitious name, DBA. Now, obviously, you can do a sole proprietorship, but as your business continues to evolve, you definitely want to look into possibly incorporating your business long term. Apply for an EIN number. You know, you can go to irs.gov and apply for an EIN number. It's totally free of charge. That's something I help my clients with here at PNC as well. There's a lot of companies out there that'll charge you to do those services, but like I said, go to irs.gov and you can actually get the EIN number yourself and you get it the same day. 2 forms of identification. So most banks now are requiring you to have 2 forms of identification whenever you're setting up a bank account. Obviously, some type of US ID, whether that's a driver's license, passport, and then usually a secondary ID that's also a state issued ID or like a debit card or credit card. And last but not least, visit your trusted small business banker. And that's myself, Lawrence Barnes. I'm at PNC Bank here in Riverview, Florida. And we'll also be providing my contact information as well. But I'm happy to just sit down and have a conversation with you. There's no cost for that. If there's anything I can do to help you with your business, or even if you just want to run ideas by me, I'm definitely open to doing that. Thank you guys for your time today, and I hope it was well for you.
Thank you so much, Lawrence. I appreciate it. Lawrence has helped me with my own banking needs. I always feel and encourage business owners to get to know your banker. It is so important. Hence the reason why he is here today. So while we transition to speakers, I thought, why not incorporate just a few little insurance tips? Because Lawrence spoke very well about protecting your money and how you can do that as a business owner with your banking needs. So I do just want to talk about protecting really quickly your business with insurance. 2 of the insurances that we are requested to quote the most are general liability and professional liability insurance. Both of those insurances are going to protect you in the event of a lawsuit. For example, I have several of my clients that own consulting firms, and a lot of times they will think, oh, I don't have a need for this starting out. And the thing is that if you give consultative advice to someone, they take that advice that you provide to them, they are a client, you've entered into a contract, and you give wrong advice, you are up for a lawsuit, whether it is a situation where you gave good advice or not. The fact is, you have to defend yourself. You will need to defend yourself in a lawsuit, and general liability and professional liability is going to be able to do that for you. So now it is time for us to have Rosalind Rice share information regarding marketing. Collaborative, client-centric business professional experienced in managing multi-million dollar accounts is who, or just part of Rosalind's experience. She is skilled in discovering opportunities and achieving revenue goals through excellent metric analysis, business acumen, and tactical strategies. Rosalind is a best-selling author, and she embodies the insight to deliver both strategically and tactically, ensuring success of domestic and global initiatives. She's been described as a collaborative leader with the ability to build relationships at all levels within an organization. She has expertise in world-class leadership with diverse teams across North America. Will you join me in welcoming my twin sister, Rosalind Rice?
Yay! Hi, everyone. It is so great to be with you today. I'm just going to start off by saying congratulations to all of you. It is National Mom and Pop Business Owner Day, which is each of you. And so congratulations, because many people dream and wish that they could start their own business, and you are a part of the elite that has. So congratulations. Never let that fact that you are a business owner be taken for granted. So we're going to talk about marketing. It is the end of first quarter, which means second quarter starts right around the corner. April 1st is actually on Friday. And when you think about successful brands, it really comes from understanding the customer journey. This applies to whether you're a product-based business or service-based business. And actually in the chat, why don't you put, are you a product-based business? Are you a service-based business? This, I hope our presenters know as well, like who their audience is that we're talking to. But you're either B2B, where you are business to business, or B2C, where you're business to consumer. But it is important, every business needs a marketing plan. And a lot of times I will hear business owners really focused on their sales strategy. But at the end of the day, how are you going to attract those clients, those customers to your business? It starts with a solid marketing plan. And so I just wanted to give a high level overview as we get ready to go into second quarter, what a high level marketing plan looks like. What are some of the foundational pieces of it? The first is understanding, now this is going to be a very broad stroke. Each of these categories can get very granular, but for the sake of time, and Renee, please help me with the time. The number one thing is, what are your strategic objectives? Understanding your values, your vision, your mission is really going to help you start to craft that marketing plan. Everything that you do needs to tie back to the strategic pillars of your business. You need to understand the stage of business that you are in. If you are a new entrepreneur, let's say 3 years or less, you are in the hustle phase of business, which means that you are just doing what you can do to be able to create revenue, to create more resources within your business. As you become more established, you're starting to look at your systems and how you document those systems. So you got to also understand where you are in regards to your business. The second thing in regards to a marketing plan, who are you selling to? You got to do a customer analysis, and many people will just kind of go on what they feel that they know, and you can miss so much information. Consumer behaviors have changed drastically pre and post COVID. So it's important for you to do your own market research. This is something that you can outsource, but you really need to understand who you are selling to. And what we have seen more than anything is that people are buying solutions. They have pain points, and they want to be with service and product companies that solve their problems. One of the things that, as I do research for many different type of companies, it was interesting for me to find out, let's just take the baby industry. Many people think about the baby industry and will market to those that are pregnant, will look to be pregnant, but actually 40% of that industry, the baby industry, is people who are not pregnant, people who are not expecting a child. So think about, you have gender reveals, you have baby showers, you have grandmothers, you have friends and colleagues going in to buy products. So if you're only targeting to those who are pregnant, you're missing 40% of market share. So it's important for you to do your research and really understand who you are selling to. And one of the things I really suggest for my clients is that you look at a buyer persona. And I know my dear friend Deanna, who I'll be interviewing later, she talks about this as well. I really come up with 3 to 5 fictional people that I am selling to. And I do a deep dive into understanding the demographics about who that person is. And so I literally come up with names. This is Susie, this is Tracy, this is Barbara, this is Jordan. I come up with names and I think about what is the income, what is the gender, what is the marital status, what is the title. So it's important for you to come up with these buyer personas, as we say in the marketing world. You want to look at demographics because that will inform you on who you're going to target, but also the psychographics. And this is more important than anything. What are their hobbies? What's their religion? What are their political beliefs? And in a world in 2022 with tribalism, it is very important for you to understand political beliefs of your ideal client, because that has become one of the top ways people are buying and purchasing based on political beliefs. What are their values? What are their goals? So imagine you are a person, you've set goals at the beginning of the year, even though we're at the end of first quarter, and you're saying, I want to make more time to spend with my children. Well, it is a professional organizer who can market to that person that has that goal to help them be able to free up time and clutter in their home so that they're able to spend more time with their children. What are their pains? What are their personal challenges? This all frames the person that you want to create content for, who you want to market, who you want to target. As we know, marketing to Gen Z or millennials is going to be a completely different strategy than when you're marketing to someone Gen X like myself that might be married with kids or single and climbing up the career ladder. Our marketing plan guides and influences shoppers along the purchasing journey. So then the third part here is the competition. And when I talk about the competition, what I really want you to look at in regards to your marketing plan, yes, how are they solving problems for their consumers? But more importantly, where are they positioning their brand? There can be someone in a noisy marketplace where you have so many business owners who are selling so many different things, services. It's a noisy marketplace. The way that you're going to start to craft what is unique about your organization is understanding their positioning. So what I mean by that, you can have a company that's strictly going after value. They don't care anything about follow-up or customer service. Their focus is on value pricing. You can have another one that feels like, you know what, we're not going to be the most affordable, but we're going to provide that excellent customer service. Or you might be one that wants to put yourself as a thought leader or a subject matter expert. So know the positioning of your competition. And then from there, you start crafting your strategy. How will you approach the market? And you know what? This might change. When we look at the retail industry, look at Louis Vuitton, how they approach the market versus a Macy's. Look at Starbucks, who will use a business model of a sip and stay type of strategy versus a Dunkin' Donuts, which knows that they're marketing to those that are on the run. They need to get in and get out and get their coffee. They're not, looking for people to spend time just sitting and talking and having a cup of coffee. It says American runs on Dunkin'. So what is going to be your unique take in the market? It's very important that you provide those marketing solutions and think about the product, the price, where your placement will be, how you'll promote it, and how you'll position your brand. And a very important part of that is networking. More than anything, business owners need to make sure network with other business owners so you can feel that you're not on a lone island. All right. And you want to create content as you start to really look at what my competition is doing, who my customer is. You really start to think about, how do I create content for where she is? Not every customer is your ideal customer. So you're really focused on your ideal customer. You're going to create content. And when I say content, I'm talking about websites, blogs, videos, brochures, social media posts. If you are a grant writer, right? One of our clients is a grant writer and she works with business to business. One of the things that might be a problem for her clients is that they feel we're just applying for these grants, but unfortunately, we're not able to get any awarded to us. So part of the content that she might put out is how to write an effective grant. Right? So think about the keywords that are important for your business. One of the tools that I use is Google Trends. It is a free tool, but it allows you to look at different keywords and then compare. Is someone going to be saying, if you're in skincare, a day spa versus a skin studio? The website is trends.google.com. Renee, you can put that in the chat, trends.google.com, and you can really compare different keywords to see what words you need to use in your content to be able to attract more people. So I also think about this from a photographer standpoint. I have a girlfriend that is in Arizona, and she always uses the keyword, not just wedding photographer, but Arizona wedding photographer. So she really targets in on the region where she is. All right. Websites are your first introduction into your business. And many times websites in the past has just been a resume of, this is how long I've been in business. These are my degrees. These are the people I do business with. That has changed in 2022. Post-pandemic, your website is your storefront. And so what you really need to focus on is, am I able to solve your problem? If you are a pet groomer, think about how someone is going to Google about your business. Think about the way that you Google. A lot of times we think keywords, and keywords are important, but many times we're Googling how to blank. So think how to reduce acne. If I'm a pet groomer, how to get my puppy to pee on the paper, how to get my puppy to sleep, how to get my puppy. That's the type of content that you need to have. All right. Number 5. And I know I'm going through this fast, but that's why it's recorded and you can always go back through it. Your budget. Once you know the strategy that you want to take, think about the financial resources that you want to, commit towards achieving your goals. Now, we are all on limited resources, especially if you're a solo business owner and there are so many things that you can be spending business on. But it is important to work with a consultant, work with your accountant, work with someone who understands systems to really be able to maximize your marketing dollars. You want to look at your historical data as you're thinking about your budget. Where are the months that you're doing the most amount of business? You don't want to spend your marketing dollars in January or July when the majority of your business is done in March or April or December. So you want to be very strategic in how you are using your funds. Look at historical data. Look at, what did you do last year? Maybe you launched a new store opening, launched a new campaign, a new coaching program. You want to be able to anniversary that so that you don't see a dip in sales. So it's important that you're looking at historical data to build the foundation as a springboard of where you want to go next. Okay. So
you have 1 minute.
Okay. Which really means I'm already a minute over. So I'm just going to rush right through this. Think about, the last thing is, think about the channel in which you want to publish your content, right? So is it going to be press kits? Is it going to be blogs? But more importantly, what is the call to action? I see so many social media posts and there's no call to action. And what I mean by a call to action, share, donate, tag so-and-so, visit my website. Think about what it is that you want to do, increase your awareness, increase your reach, drive traffic to your website, drive traffic to your email list, whatever it is, but have a very specific goal. If you don't, your marketing is going to be inconsistent and choppy, and it can be detrimental to your brand.
All right. Well, thank you, Rosalind. I thought you had one more slide, but I could be.
Nope. Oh, just that if any of you are interested, just because you're part of the REIMAGINE community, if you're interested in some consulting package, there is a $200 off, and that is exclusive for our REIMAGINE community, off a full package.
All right. Thank you, Rosalind.
Yes.
I hated to like even say you had 1 minute remaining because you had a lot of really good information, but I do want to make sure that I make space and time for all of our speakers. And so Ilana is going to speak on trademarks. And so before she gets started, I do want to introduce her. Ilana is a business and intellectual property attorney and the owner of Greenway Law Firm located in the Tampa Bay area. She graduated from Florida State University and went to Howard University School of Law, where she concentrated her studies on intellectual property law. Ilana routinely assists creatives and companies in protecting, managing, and enforcing their trademarks. She has prosecuted state and federal trademark applications, has handled various trademark disputes, and has litigated before the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office, Trademark Trial and Appeal Board. Ilana has served as co-chair of the Hillsborough County Bar Association's IP section for several years and enjoys educating her clients and the public on the importance of protecting, enforcing, and monetizing trademark assets. I would say follow her on her social media platforms. Hopefully she'll have an opportunity just to share what those are, because she does provide some great information. And so Ilana, take it away.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me. Excited to present on trademarks, and hopefully I'm able to share my screen. There we go. So I'm going to share my presentation. Thank you so much, Renee, for that introduction. All right, so today, let me go back here. Today, I'm going to talk about trademarks in your business. So because it's a short period of time in which I have to present on this, I'm going to go through it fairly quickly. But if you have any questions, hopefully I have time for people to ask questions. Feel free to ask questions in the chat, or questions later on. So I'm going to try to get through as much information as I can. So I'm going to quickly go over 4 things: the types of intellectual property, the basics of trademark law, and an overview of trademark registration and enforcement, and then a couple of trademark myths, things that have kind of been swirling around that aren't quite true. So we'll go around. So Renee already did my intro, so we don't necessarily need to get into my background. The only other thing I would mention is, on the business, my business practice area, I often, I have plenty of clients that I serve as outside general counsel to, and also handle contract work as well. But of course, my specialty is in trademark and copyright and intellectual property in general. So types of intellectual property. These are the 5 big intellectual property types. So the first one is patents, and I put that one first because typically when someone thinks of intellectual property or IP, they think of patents. And I'm assuming just because people know a little bit more about patents, perhaps. But patents deal with technology and inventions. And so I don't practice patent law because I don't have a technical engineering kind of background. But some businesses do need assistance with patent applications, if they're coming up with new technologies and inventions. The second type is trademarks, and trademarks, we're of course going to dive deeper into trademarks, but they generally deal with brand names and slogans. And then you have copyrights. Copyrights protect, or copyright law protects, creative work. So, we're talking about, any kind of creative work that you can think of. paintings and books and choreography, and there's so many, there's songs, any kind of creative work that you can think of. Articles and blogs and things like that also can be protected. So any kind of creative work are protected by copyright law. And then we have the right of publicity, which is really a state by state protection, which protects the person's name and likeness. So you hear a lot about right of publicity when you're dealing with photographers, because they have to ensure that, when they're taking these photographs of people, that they essentially have their permission to then use that photograph for a commercial purpose. So right of publicity is, I see that a lot when dealing with photographers and people who are actually using those photos of other people as well. They need to know about right of publicity and what those laws are in their particular state. And then the last one is trade secret. So trade secret is essentially the protection of any kind of valuable business information. And with kind of service-based, not service, but more product-based companies, a huge kind of trade secret could be a recipe, right? Coca-Cola has, their recipe for Coca-Cola is top trade secret. They do a lot to protect that recipe and keep it secret, but it doesn't have to be recipes, right? It could be a client list. It could be a process. It could be a standard operating procedures. It could be anything that basically gives a business an edge, a competitive edge that provides value to that company. Those are trade secrets, and there's ways to protect those trade secrets, usually by contract, usually by a non-disclosure agreement and things like that. So those are the big five. So generally speaking, trademarks, protect brand names or deal with brand names, logos, slogans, or other devices that are used to signify the source of goods and services. So really, what this means is a trademark is a source identifier. So if you're walking through the grocery store, you're able a lot of times just to look over at packaging and you're able to know, oh, that comes from, a particular manufacturer. I know that because of this packaging. I know that because of the color they're using. I know that, right? Same thing with any kind of logo, right? McDonald's, you see that, you see the golden arches and you know that's from McDonald's. So it's a source identifier. That's what a trademark is. It has to serve as a source identifier. And I mentioned trade dress because it is a type of trademark. It can be packaging, it could be design, and I have here the Tiffany's, the Tiffany's box as an example, because they have actually trademarked this Tiffany blue, this color. So it is a source identifier. No one else selling jewelry can use this color. They have registered this trademark. They have used it for a long time, and it is now a source identifier. When people see this color, they know this is coming from Tiffany's and no one else. And if it is coming from someone else, that's clear trademark infringement. I have this chart over here about the levels of government just to show you that this, when we're talking about trademarks, generally speaking, most people are thinking on the federal side, on the national side, but there also is trademark protection on the state side, right? So every state has trademark laws. And so you want to make sure, if you're looking into trademarks, you want to make sure that you're looking to not only the federal protection, but within your state as well, because there are benefits to both. There are benefits to both state and federal protection. And why do trademarks even matter for your business, right? Why should I care? This should be an afterthought, whatnot. It should not be, right? Especially if you're selling products or services. And the reason why it matters is because of money, investment, right? Most companies spend a lot of money doing these things that you see here. They spend a lot of money creating their brand identity. They spend a lot of money diversifying their products and services. developing products and services. They spend a lot of money expanding to new locations, expanding internationally. So when you are making these investments, you want to make sure that your investment is protected, right? And one of those ways is protecting and enforcing your trademark, so that all this time that you've spent in building this brand, putting all these advertising dollars behind a slogan or a logo or a brand name are not then basically diminished by someone else coming in after you and essentially taking away from the work, the sweat, the money that you put in to investing in your own brand. That's why this matters. That's why trademarks matter. That's why it's protected by federal laws. So I'm going to talk a little bit about federal registration. State registration is something that I do as well, but I won't dive into it right now. Excuse me. And I'm not going to read through all these benefits of federal registration, but there are many benefits to registering with the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office or the USPTO. One of those is basically letting everyone know that you are the owner of this particular trademark. It used to be very hard to prove that. It used to be hard to prove who owns what. So that's why the USPTO created this registry of trademarks to basically give everyone notice that you own this particular trademark. That is one of the biggest reasons why you want to have your trademark registered with the USPTO. It is not, the reason should not be, I want to keep so-and-so from using it. I want to keep somebody else from using it. That can be kind of a side reason, but that should not be your main reason, right? Because having it registered does not keep anyone from using a mark that's confusingly similar to yours. Also, having a registration makes those demand letters, those cease and desist letters, it puts a little more power behind and authority behind those when you have a registration, because like I said, it's proof of ownership. And it does deter, it can deter third parties from using a confusingly similar mark, but that is not always the case. All right, so the federal registration process. So my process when I am assisting a client with registering a trademark on the federal side, the first step is to do a comprehensive search. The search is important. It's an important part of this process because you don't want to go in and spend money in trying to file an application and then to learn that you just wasted all of this money because there was a mark that was already out there that was either a pending application or a registration that is confusingly similar to yours. So the search looks all of that up. It looks at pending applications, it looks at registrations. The search also looks at trademarks that have been registered in all 50 states. It also looks at what's called common law registrations, which means someone who hasn't registered it anywhere, but they started using their trademark. And that's important because you have rights to a trademark as soon as you start using it. As soon as you open up shop and you start using a name in connection with products and services, you have rights to that trademark, period. Okay. You have rights as soon as you start selling the service or offering it to the public, essentially, you have rights to that trademark. So this search includes all of that because it makes you, you have more of an informed, you can make more of an informed decision as to whether you want to move forward with filing the application, or if you want to go another route, or if you want to change the name, or whatever the decision is. And of course, if you've already been using the mark for several years, it'll also let you know what's out there and kind of what steps you can take moving forward as far as your trademarks go. But the application process right now is a long one. There has been a backlog of trademark applications. It's honestly been insane how long it takes to get a trademark application process. But it's a thorough process. And, you know, the examiners of the applications, they look at pending applications, they look at registrations to see whether there's a mark that's confusingly similar to yours, and that is a legal term. And there's so many factors that go into assessing whether there's another mark that's confusingly similar. But it's a long process. Right now, it's taking about a year from the date the application is filed to get, even a response from the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office. So, if it's something that you're, considering doing, you want to make sure that you consult with, a trademark attorney like myself to figure out what the best steps are moving forward. I put here.
We have about 30 seconds remaining.
Okay. All right. So let me go. I think this is my next to last slide. Enforcement, trademark enforcement. You have to police your own brand. So even if you have a trademark registration, you have to do it. The USPTO is not going to enforce your brand, or your trademark. You have to do it. So you can hire a trademark attorney to do watch services to see if there's any marks that come up, if there are any other trademarks that come up that could be confusingly similar to yours. And there's steps that you can take pre-litigation, and there's steps you can take to litigate against folks who are infringing upon your brand. But it's something that you have to do. So essentially what you want to make sure that you're doing is setting aside in your budget, setting aside money to, enforce your trademark. This last myth the one myth that I really want to highlight that aren't true, and I have Captain Jack Sparrow there because I'm obsessed with Pirates of the Caribbean, but you should not wait until your business is more established before you start considering and worrying about trademarks because you think it's too expensive or whatnot. You want to do this in the outset. When you're starting your business, when you come up with a business name, you want to start thinking about trademarks because the last thing you want is 10 years down the line, you've been using this same name and come to find out Susie over there in, another city was using the same name before you. You go in to file your trademark or you're just using it. And Susie finds out about you, she can sue you for trademark infringement. Because remember I said that the trademark rights attach as soon as you start using it. So it's important to start thinking about this. You don't want to start thinking about it when you're getting sued or when you get that cease and desist letter. You want to start thinking about it now. And you want to make sure that you consult with an intellectual property attorney, essentially, because not only are trademarks involved, but all of those other types of intellectual property might be involved in your business. And you want to make sure that you're not only protecting those business assets, because that's what IP is. You want to make sure you're protecting those IP assets and also enforcing them. So that was my short spiel. I wish I had more time. But if you have any questions, you can email me, ilana@greenwayfirm.com. And if you want to schedule a consultation with me, I will waive my consultation fee for those who have attended today. Just shoot me an email or give my office a call and let them know that you attended this webinar, and we'll be sure to waive the consultation fee. So thank you all so much for having me.
Ilana, thank you so much. That was really, really, really good information. And I can definitely see why most of your presentations take about 30 minutes, because I know you could have gotten really deep. And so we do just kind of want to give this little bit of an appetizer that quenches the bite for something more robust. And so I hope that the individuals that are listening, whether it's on the replay or even while you are here today, that you will take advantage and leverage that free consultation that you are providing. Thank you so much. So Ilana shared with how to protect your intellectual property. And so I just wanted to share just a little bit, really quick nugget, insurance on protecting your business property. Your business property is so important to your business. And so there's a couple of different policies that can provide coverage. One thing about commercial insurance, it can be a little bit complex, needing to know what coverage. And that's why an expert is so great to have on your corner. But when you think about business property, I want you to think about, do you have inventory in your home? Do you have furniture, computers, printers, phones, whether it's in your office, whether you've got a brick and mortar office or whether you have a home-based office, in the event a fire takes place, a hurricane hits, or lightning strikes, you want to have those pieces of equipment, you want to have them protected. And so insurance is something that can help you in those situations. And so now it is time for our question and answer. We are going to have Rosalind and Deanna just share. She is a retail consultant. I'm going to have Rosalind introduce her and start the question and answer.
Yeah, so I am happy to introduce Deanna. She is a retail growth strategist. She has a strong eye for design in her corporate merchandising experience. She has launched numerous products with many different brands, but one that is most notable is the Chico's No Iron Linen Collection. Somebody might actually have that on, which is now a multi-million-dollar program. She, in 2018, started Retail Evolved, which is retail coaching and consulting firm to work directly with small businesses, equipping them with the proven strategies, tools, and systems she utilized daily as a buyer and various other roles during her corporate career. She has her team help retail entrepreneurs build their 12-month growth roadmap, then systemize and align their back office operations to scale profitability in one single day. She has these intensive transformational days. I have done just one session with this sister, and she is absolutely phenomenal. She is a change maker. She's a thought leader. She has studied in Florence, Italy. I can't say enough about my dear friend, Deanna McIntosh, who I'm happy she's here today, but I will actually get the opportunity to be with her in Palm Springs, California in July for a speaking event that we are doing. So welcome to this stage. I'm going to stop sharing as Renee is going to pin us both as we do this question and answer. So one of the questions that I want to get to, Deanna, thank you so much for being here, is we got this one from one of our viewers. What is the difference between cross-selling and upselling?
Mm-hmm. So thanks for having me in that lovely introduction. So cross-selling is when you're selling a product or a service to an existing customer. So it's something that you already, like it's an easy sell and it's an easy way to drive additional volume. So for example, if you're selling someone a tank top and you also sell cardigans, they go together. That's cross-selling. Yeah, did I answer?
Yes. And then what about upselling? Yeah.
So upselling is when you're trying to convince a customer to purchase either a more expensive version of the item that you're talking about or trying to sell, or just an additional item in general that's a higher sell.
Okay. That's good. Good to know. All right. So I know you deal a lot with many businesses that have e-commerce, online businesses, and, you know, both of us having spent time in the buying office, what percent, and I know this wasn't but what percent is actually buying? Like people think it's just this glamorous, it's not buying, you're actually a merchant. So I want you to dive a little bit into like kind of the top 5 things you should know if you are in the selling space for products specifically.
Mm-hmm. Well, from the small businesses that I've spoken with that have stores, a lot of them are doing buying the majority of the time, which is actually incorrect. So you should not be buying 24/7 or like every single week. You should actually have focused time frames that you buy. There's a reason why, like the fashion calendar, which some brands have abandoned, but they still have structured buying. But there's a reason why there's a fashion calendar where you buy, you know, there's a winter season, a fall, spring, summer. That means people generally were buying 4 times. They weren't buying every single week. So that's one thing, is to pay attention to how many times your customer is coming to you looking for newness. And that should dictate approximately how many times you actually place buys a year. So for example, home goods companies, like how often do you buy a sofa? Not very often. So they, if like their trade shows, for example, for the home industry is twice a year. And so they usually release 2 collections, so to speak, a year, versus other companies who might, like fashion trendy companies, they're constantly having newness for that reason. So that's one thing. Another thing is that every decision that you make in your store should make you money. Like that's the mindset that you should have, literally every single thing. So if you're packing an order, that should make you money, because the handwritten note that you put in there should lead to customer loyalty, which should lead to them coming back, which should lead to more money. So if there's anything that you're doing in the store that you can't correlate back to either your sales goal or money in the future, you shouldn't be doing it. So that's another. Let's see. Oh, another one is to grow, you have to invest. This is a huge one. So many times people think that, I guess, to grow, you just need to run ads, but that's not true. There's so many other things to take into account in running a retail business. One of the biggest ones is merchandising. That word, if you don't know what it is, you're literally missing the entire core of your business, because big brands are run by their merchandising departments. So merchants or buyers, which I used to be, which Rosalind used to be. So they're run by their merchandising departments. So you don't know what that is. You're literally missing the core of your growth engine. So, and if you don't know about merchandising, you should invest in working with somebody, shameless plug, like me, to teach you merchandising strategies so you can structure your business like a big business so you can grow to that level. So whether you do it today or 5 years from now, you're going to have to do that in order to grow your business to that type of a level. So another one is to keep going on the ads note. So marketing might get you customers, right? They might bring customers to you. Merchandising keeps them and brings them back. So again, you can market all you want to, but if your website, there's no clear customer journey to sale. You know, if the customer doesn't land on your site or walk into your doors and immediately know the store is for me or not for me, that's not helping you with sales, right? If your products don't speak to your customers, if they can't tell where to go and how, and there's no like strong brand story, that erodes sales. So merchandising is truly, it's defined as having the right products at the right time, in the right quantities, I throw that in there, in the right place, at the right price, with the right promotion to the right people. So it's literally the core, and it's directing everything else so that there's a central force and central goals that you're working towards every single day.
Yeah, that's so good. I know that we are just quickly out of time, but I wanted to just ask this one last question in regards to storytelling. We know how important that is in the fashion space, especially with products. We walk into the store. How important is it to storytell in regard to your product assortments?
It's a non-negotiable.
Yeah.
One of the things I say a million times is that it's not enough to just sell products. It's just not, it never has been, but even more so with the pandemic, you have to create a reason for people to buy. And if you truly want to build a store that is more than just stuff, no offense, but like, seriously, you have to tell stories. So if you're going to sell a journal, tell me why I need to buy this journal. Tell me how journaling every day improves your brain, your clarity by X%. Like, tell the story to connect the customer with why they should care. Yeah, that's as simple and straightforward as I can put it.
No, listen, I love it. I love, you and I are both passionate about retail. Obviously, I am in a service-based business as well as a retail-based business. And the consultant has a consultant. That's how important and vital it is. And the fact that you're a growth strategist, I think, is a very unique experience. So thank you so much, Deanna, for being here. And definitely, if you are in a product-based business, e-commerce, or you have a brick and mortar, you want to reach out to Deanna. It's an absolute joy to have her here. So Renee.
Well, Deanna, we did get one question for individuals that are sourcing products from overseas, albeit China. How can we mitigate those shipping costs, and where can we source domestically to maybe prevent those delays?
Yeah, so definitely try to stay away from China in general for obvious reasons. But there's many other countries to source from, such as like Vietnam, for example, Brazil, Thailand. So never put all your eggs in one basket in any part of the retail journey. So start looking at other countries to source from. Also, make sure that you're being strategic about your buys. Again, if you're not buying every single week, you won't have as big of an issue. One, you're going to reduce costs because you're using, for example, like one container. So you're paying this price and consolidating all your orders into one container versus piecemealing it every single week. That's going to cost you more, especially if your order can't fill an entire container. So another thing is you can air in goods. So traditionally, airing in goods is obviously a lot more expensive than shipping them. But shipping containers are like double, sometimes triple the price of what they were. So just compare that to airing in your goods to see where it makes sense to do so. But yeah, also last thing, review your packaging. It's like the most obvious thing to do, but not. So, there could be ways, instead of using a corrugated box, use an envelope for certain products. You're reducing the rate, reducing the overall imprint of this item. So that should also reduce the shipping cost.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And I do appreciate those individuals that have been able to stay. We are getting ready to wrap up. I know, Rosalind, you're going to share the screen so that we can wrap up. Please make sure that you take the time to write down the contact information for our speakers today. They have graciously provided their time, and we are just so thankful for what they have been able to do. We have a couple of offers that are available to you, one being offered by DPI, where you get $200 off a consulting package, and then Alana with the waiving of the consultation fees. And so you see the contact information there for Lawrence and Alana and Deanna. Feel free to reach out to them. We have run out of time. I didn't see any questions in the chat, except for just thanks to everyone for all of the great information that you shared. And so with that, we are going to wrap it up. We've got just one more slide that provides the contact information for myself. If you have any insurance questions whatsoever, as well as Rosalind Rice, who is a business consultant helping businesses thrive with her leadership and consulting advice. And so we thank you so much. We know we ran a little bit over, but the information was just so good. And so we do appreciate your time and look for us to be coming back with another Reimagine this year. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Lawrence and Alana. Thank you. I really appreciate it, Deanna.